Atlantis may be the most famous lost city in history. There is just one problem. It may never have existed. For more than 2,300 years, humanity has searched for evidence of Atlantis. Explorers crossed oceans looking for it. Kings funded expeditions to find it. Scientists tried to explain it. And despite all of that effort, nobody has ever found definitive proof it existed. Yet the legend refuses to die. According to the story, Atlantis was a civilization of immense wealth, a naval superpower, a city of extraordinary engineering and monumental architecture. Then, in a single day and night of catastrophe, it vanished beneath the sea. No confirmed ruins, no undisputed artifacts, no answers. And that is what makes Atlantis so fascinating. Because every time the mystery appears solved, something unexpected pulls it back into the shadows. Imagine discovering a detailed account of a lost civilization. Not a myth filled with monsters, not a vague legend, a description, a location, a government, a military, a harbor system, even measurements. Now imagine that civilization supposedly disappeared thousands of years before the account was written. That is the mystery of Atlantis. For centuries, historians, archaeologists, geologists, and explorers have argued over a deceptively simple question. Was Atlantis real? Or was it the most influential fictional city ever created? The answer should be straightforward. It isn't. Because the deeper we investigate Atlantis, the stranger the story becomes. And the first clue takes us back to ancient Greece. Around 360 BCE, the philosopher Plato introduced the world to Atlantis. According to Plato, the story had passed through generations before reaching him. He claimed Egyptian priests had told the tale to the Athenian statesman Solon centuries earlier. Those priests described a civilization that existed long before recorded Greek history. Plato claimed Atlantis lay beyond the Pillars of Hercules. Today, we know that narrow passage as the Strait of Gibraltar. Beyond it stretched the Atlantic Ocean. And somewhere beyond those waters, according to Plato's account, stood a vast island kingdom. At least according to his account. The civilization he described possessed fertile plains, rich natural resources, advanced engineering, and powerful fleets. At the center stood its greatest achievement, a capital city built in concentric rings. Alternating circles of land and water surrounded the royal district. Canals connected the city to the sea. Bridges crossed circular waterways. Massive walls protected the capital. Then historians noticed something unusual. This did not sound like mythology. Most ancient myths are frustratingly vague. Atlantis was not. Plato described governments, agriculture, trade, military forces, infrastructure, even dimensions. Not literally a map, but something surprisingly close. And that raises a question historians still debate today. Why? Why would a philosopher creating a fictional allegory include so much detail? Many modern scholars believe the answer is simple. Plato invented Atlantis. In this interpretation, the city was never intended as history. It was a philosophical warning, a story about power, corruption, and collapse. A fictional civilization designed to teach real lessons. It is a convincing explanation, but there was a problem. The story refused to remain trapped inside philosophy. Generation after generation became convinced there was something real hidden beneath the legend. And then archaeologists discovered a catastrophe that appeared to explain everything. More than 1,500 years before Plato wrote about Atlantis, a civilization flourished in the Aegean Sea. Its merchants traded across the Mediterranean. Its ships crossed busy sea routes. Its towns contained elegant buildings covered in colorful frescoes. Its people prospered. Then disaster struck. One of the most violent volcanic eruptions in human history. Today we call the island Santorini. But before the eruption, it looked very different. Imagine standing on its harbor at sunset. Fishing boats rock gently in the water. Merchants unload cargo from distant lands. Children race through narrow streets. The smell of cooking fires drifts through the evening air. For the people living there, Tomorrow seems certain. Then the ground begins to shake. At first, nobody understands. A few loose stones fall from a wall. Animals become restless. The tremors grow stronger. People stop what they're doing. The shaking becomes violent. Then comes the explosion. A mountain tears itself apart. Ash erupts into the sky. The sea withdraws from the shoreline. Moments later, enormous waves race toward the coast. Buildings collapse. Harbors disappear. Entire communities are destroyed. The world changes forever. For modern researchers, the parallels seemed remarkable. An advanced island civilization, destroyed by a catastrophic natural disaster, lost to history. At first glance, Santorini appeared to fit Atlantis perfectly. For many historians, the mystery seemed solved. But then researchers noticed an enormous problem. Santorini was not beyond the Strait of Gibraltar. It wasn't even close. It lay deep inside the Mediterranean. And that wasn't the only issue. Plato's timeline did not match. Parts of the geography did not match. Even aspects of the city description did not match. The strongest Atlantis theory suddenly looked less certain. And if Santorini wasn't Atlantis, then what was? That question would send investigators across oceans, deserts, and eventually into some of the strangest places on Earth. If Santorini wasn't Atlantis, investigators faced an uncomfortable reality. The strongest explanation had failed. Not completely, but enough to keep the mystery alive. And once the mystery survived Santorini, researchers began looking elsewhere. Some searched the Atlantic. Others searched the Mediterranean. A few searched beneath the sea. And then, unexpectedly, attention turned toward one of the driest places on Earth, the Sahara Desert. At first, the idea sounded absurd. Atlantis was supposed to have been swallowed by water. The Sahara was a sea of sand. How could the two possibly be connected? Then satellite imagery revealed something remarkable. Deep within Mauritania lies a massive geological formation known as the Richat Structure. From the ground, it appears unremarkable, but from the sky, it becomes extraordinary. Enormous concentric rings stretch across the landscape. Perfect circles nested inside larger circles. The formation is nearly 40 kilometers wide, large enough to be visible from space. And for many people, the resemblance was impossible to ignore. Plato had described Atlantis as a city built around concentric circles of land and water. The Richat structure displayed concentric circles on a scale that seemed almost unbelievable. Images spread across the internet. Videos accumulated millions of views. Researchers compared satellite photographs with Plato's description, and suddenly, a new possibility emerged. What if Atlantis had never sunk beneath the ocean? What if the landscape had changed so dramatically over thousands of years that the city now sat in the middle of a desert? The theory gained momentum. The surrounding region had once been greener. Ancient rivers crossed areas now covered by sand. Lakes existed where none remain today. The Sahara had not always been a desert. For a moment, the pieces appeared to fit. A location, a shape, a mystery, a possible solution. Then geologists examined the evidence, and the theory encountered a familiar problem. The Richat structure was almost certainly natural. Its rings had formed through geological processes over millions of years, not through human engineering, not through a lost civilization, not through Atlantis. Once again, the mystery slipped away. But by now, something strange was happening. Every failed solution seemed to create a new lead, and the next lead would take investigators back to the Atlantic Ocean itself. If Atlantis existed beyond the Strait of Gibraltar, then perhaps the answer really was in the Atlantic. That possibility inspired generations of explorers. The Atlantic Ocean is vast. Its floor contains underwater mountains, volcanic plateaus, and landscapes that remained completely unknown until modern technology arrived. For centuries, people imagined that Atlantis lay somewhere beneath those waters. Then the 20th century changed everything. Humanity began mapping the ocean floor. Submarines descended into darkness. Sonar revealed hidden terrain. Researchers discovered entire mountain ranges beneath the sea, and every unusual formation triggered the same question. Could this be Atlantis? The mystery had become global. Some theories pointed toward the Azores, a chain of volcanic islands in the Atlantic. Supporters argued that parts of a larger landmass might have disappeared beneath the waves long ago. Others suggested lost islands once connected distant regions of the ocean. Most geologists remained skeptical, but the fascination endured because the ocean possesses a unique power. It hides things. Even today, vast portions of the seafloor remain poorly understood, and where knowledge ends, imagination begins. Then came a discovery that would ignite headlines around the world. A line of stones resting beneath the water near the Bahamas. In 1968, divers exploring near Bimini in the Bahamas reported something unusual. Beneath the surface lay a formation of massive stone blocks. The stones stretched in a long line. Some appeared strangely regular, almost deliberate, almost engineered. Photographs quickly spread. Speculation followed. Could this be part of an ancient harbor? A seawall? A roadway? The remains of Atlantis? For many observers, the possibility seemed thrilling. After all, Atlantis was supposed to be underwater, and here was something underwater that looked suspiciously artificial. The excitement grew. Books were written. Documentaries were produced. Expeditions arrived. For a moment, it seemed possible that one of history's greatest mysteries might finally be solved. Then scientists arrived with a less dramatic explanation. The stones, they argued, were most likely naturally fractured beach rock. Geological processes could explain the formation without requiring a lost civilization. Atlantis once again slipped beyond reach, but the story was becoming familiar. Every promising lead seemed to collapse under scrutiny, and yet the search never stopped, because another mystery always appeared. Another anomaly, another clue, another possibility. Thousands of kilometers away, beneath the waters near Japan, investigators encountered one of the strangest underwater formations ever discovered. Off the coast of Yonaguni Island, divers found something extraordinary. A massive underwater structure, stepped terraces, sharp angles, broad platforms. The formation looked almost architectural. As images spread across the world, debate erupted. Some researchers argued that the monument was entirely natural, a product of geological forces acting on sandstone over thousands of years. Others disagreed. The structure seemed too regular, too organized, too intentional. The debate continues today, and perhaps that is what makes Yonaguni so fascinating. Not because it proves Atlantis, it doesn't, but because it reminds us how little we truly know about our submerged past. During the last ice age, sea levels were dramatically lower than they are today. Coastlines looked different. Entire regions now underwater were once dry land. Ancient communities may have existed in places now hidden beneath the sea. How many stories were lost when the oceans rose? How many settlements disappeared? How many traces remain undiscovered? Those questions do not prove Atlantis, but they make the mystery harder to dismiss. And by the late 19th century, Atlantis had become something even more powerful than a historical question. It had become an obsession. By the late 19th century, Atlantis had become something far more powerful than a legend. It had become an idea. And ideas can travel farther than cities ever could. In 1882, an American writer named Ignatius Donnelly published a book with an ambitious title, Atlantis, the Antediluvian World. The book made a remarkable claim. Atlantis, Donnelly argued, was not merely real. It was the source of civilization itself. According to his theory, Atlantis had once connected the ancient world. Its people spread knowledge across continents. Its influence survived in Egypt, the Americas, and beyond. Today, historians reject most of Donnelly's conclusions, but that hardly mattered. The book became a sensation. Suddenly, Atlantis was no longer a story from Plato. It was a destination, a prize, a missing chapter of human history waiting to be rediscovered. New theories appeared everywhere. Some searched the Atlantic Ocean. Others searched the Caribbean. Some looked beneath Antarctica. Others searched deserts, mountains, and remote islands. Theories multiplied faster than evidence. Yet public fascination only grew stronger. And then something unexpected happened. Atlantis escaped history altogether. It entered culture. Most lost cities remain trapped in the past. Atlantis did not. Instead, it reshaped the future. Its influence spread far beyond archaeology. Writers imagined it. Explorers searched for it. Mystics claimed to remember it. Entire movements emerged around the belief that humanity had forgotten an advanced prehistoric civilization. Some imagined Atlantis as a technological paradise. Others believed it contained ancient wisdom lost to time. Occult organizations incorporated Atlantis into their teachings. Psychics claimed memories of Atlantean lives. Visionaries claimed they knew where the city was hidden. The details changed. The fascination remained. And perhaps the strangest part of all is this: a city that may never have existed influenced real decisions made by real people. A story changed history. Even today, Atlantis remains everywhere. Films, television, video games, novels, documentaries. Entire generations grow up hearing its name. Many people know Atlantis better than they know actual ancient civilizations. Think about that for a moment. A city with no confirmed location, no confirmed ruins, no confirmed artifacts, yet one of the most recognizable places on Earth. Few myths have achieved that. Few stories ever could. But that raises another question. Why Atlantis? Why this story? Why not countless other forgotten legends? To answer that, we have to look beyond archaeology. We have to look at ourselves. Most myths fade. Atlantis does not. For more than 2,300 years, it has survived empires, wars, revolutions, and scientific revolutions. Why? Because Atlantis speaks to something deeply human. On the surface, it appears to be a story about a lost city. But beneath that story lies something far more powerful. Fear, hope, memory, loss. Atlantis combines nearly every element of a compelling human narrative. A golden age, extraordinary achievement, catastrophic destruction, a vanished world, the possibility that something important has been forgotten. But there is another reason. Atlantis reflects our own anxieties. The ancient Greeks worried about decline. The Romans worried about decline. Medieval kingdoms worried about decline. Modern societies worry about decline. Civilizations often imagine themselves as permanent. History repeatedly proves otherwise. Empires collapse. Cities disappear. Languages vanish. Entire cultures fade into memory. Atlantis reminds us that greatness can be temporary. And perhaps that is why we continue searching. Not because we expect to find Atlantis, but because we fear becoming Atlantis. Imagine tomorrow's headlines. Atlantis discovered. Around the world, billions of people would stop and look. News networks would interrupt programming. Governments would issue statements. Scientists would race to investigate. Archaeologists would descend on the site. For a brief moment, humanity would share a single question. Is it really Atlantis? Imagine satellites revealing hidden ruins. Imagine underwater vehicles sending back images of massive structures. Imagine historians realizing that one of history's greatest mysteries had finally been solved. It would be one of the most important discoveries ever made. But there is a paradox. The real Atlantis may never be able to compete with the Atlantis of our imagination. For more than 2,000 years, humanity has been building its own version of the city. A perfect civilization, a lost paradise, a symbol, a warning, a dream. No archaeological discovery could fully match that, because Atlantis now exists in two places. One possible location somewhere in the physical world, and another inside the human imagination. The second may be impossible to find, yet infinitely more powerful. As the sun disappears beneath the horizon, the search continues. Somewhere beneath the sea, buried beneath desert sands, hidden within forgotten histories, or perhaps nowhere at all. Atlantis remains one of humanity's most enduring mysteries, a story suspended between myth and reality, too detailed to be dismissed easily, too unsupported to be accepted confidently. And maybe that uncertainty is exactly why it survives. Because Atlantis is more than a lost city. It is a reminder that civilizations rise, civilizations fall, and history can disappear faster than we imagine. A harbor becomes a ruin, a kingdom becomes a legend, a memory becomes a myth, and sometimes a myth becomes more powerful than history itself. Perhaps Atlantis existed, perhaps it didn't. After more than 2,300 years, we still don't know. But the search has revealed something unexpected. The mystery was never only about a city. It was about us, about our fascination with lost worlds, our fear of collapse, our hope that forgotten wonders still wait to be discovered. And as long as those questions remain unanswered, the search for Atlantis will never truly end. If you enjoyed this journey into one of history's greatest mysteries, consider subscribing for more cinematic explorations of lost civilizations, forgotten worlds, and extraordinary moments from the past. And tell us in the comments, if you could visit any lost city in history for a single day, where would you go? Until next time, history never truly disappears. Sometimes it simply waits to be rediscovered.